Elizabeth, sometimes when I sit down to meditate, I find that my mind is full of noise. I've got lists of things that I suddenly remember I need to do, and I wonder what I can do to silence that chatter.
Okay. It's something that most people face when they're beginning meditation, and it can seem like a huge and impossible task to shift from the constant noise going on in our heads and the constant thinking into that space that we're told is going to be what we need to be doing, to be meditating on nothing, or to be sitting in the void, or to be aware of emptiness. And how do we get there with this constant struggle with keeping our minds quiet and having to deal with the constant noise in our heads? One of the problems is that people try and stop it, and it's unfortunately, when we try to stop something, we actually strengthen it. We make it harder to deal with. If I say to you, and this is a really common sort of question that I've heard many meditation teachers ask, is, well, don't think of blue. I mean, how many of you actually were able to do that? My guess is none, because as soon as I told you not to think of blue, you thought of blue in order to try then to undo the thinking of blue. But in fact, blue is probably now quite firmly and strongly anchored in your heads. It's the same with stopping thinking. The more we try to stop it, the harder it becomes, because we have to keep concentrating on the thinking, we're keeping that in our awareness in order to stop doing it. And we can't manage it that way. The way that I've found works best is to forget about trying to stop it. To be very present with the thinking, and to take our attention to the physical aspects of our being, to be very physically aware of what's going on inside our bodies, and keeping the general goal in our awareness of where we're wanting to go. So if that's using a mantra, or holding the awareness of wanting to move into that clear space of nothingness, we do that. And we do it at the same time as we stay generally aware of the thinking. And we allow it to be there. Just because we're thinking, just because there are thoughts running through our heads, doesn't mean we have to pay a lot of attention to them. We can simply have them there and be aware of the contact of our bodies on what we're sitting on, or what's going on in our feet. Because that will help us deal with that energy, that will help us release that energy. And it will help us move to that space of clear nothingness. The other aspect that's really important to realise is that as soon as we sit down to meditate, often what we have is a sudden surge of unfinished business that comes from the day. And sometimes there's more than others. You know, I call them shopping list meditations, where I find everything's running through my head of things I haven't done, things I should be doing, things I need to do tomorrow. And it's a bit like clearing out the garbage. So sitting with that, allowing myself to have a chance for that to express itself through my system, means that I'm actually using meditation in a really useful way, because it's helping me get to a place where I'm really clear and fresh. And so allowing that, staying grounded with that, and with my general focus on where I'm wanting to go, will help with that.